Legion Tactical Cutlery.
Hold the line!
Hey everyone, hey guys, doing Grugs here at Legion Tactical Cutlery. Welcome back once again, troops, Legionnaires, new recruits. Today I got something new. I know some of you have been waiting for this review. Today we're going to be testing out, and I don't know if it's pronounced properly, but I'm going to pronounce it this way. The WPKOPYA model number WZD-004A clip point hunter. Looks to me more like a fighting knife. However, we're going to test it out for the outdoors, see how she performs. What's everybody carrying today? Well, on the small of my back, I am carrying my all-new Ned Foss Pioneer in 14C 28N steel. Go check out the Legion premiere on this. A nice little backup self-defense knife. What is everybody carrying? Veterans active military, a pretty good-looking fighter, possibly combat knife for the field. We're going to test it out. I'm glad you're here. Just want to say thank you very much for your service. Enjoy the video. Quick specs, let's get it done so we can get the test in. Once again, this is the WPKOPYA model number WZD-004A. Clip point hunter, I say fighter. We're looking at an overall length of 12.8 inch, blade length 8 inch, blade material DC53. We'll see how WPKOPYA heat treats this bad boy. Blade hardness 60 to 61 HRC. Blade thickness 5 millimeters. Blade width 1.6 inch. Handle length 4.8 inch. It might be a little bit small for some people. I'm kind of thinking it's just a tad small. They just gave it another inch, man. In any case, I digress. Handle material G10. Weight 11.53 ounce. Sheath weight 5.57 ounce, and the total weight is 17.10 ounce. Features full tang, lanyard hole, Kydex sheath, and a Kydex belt loop. A real quick look at this knife, and then we'll get started. I do have a Legion premiere. Go check that out. I just want to be quick about this. So it's a mid-saber grind. It's got a little slight recurve. The clip point is pretty cool. Nice swedge for some penetration, and it has a small sharpening choil, small guard, and here is the handle. As you can see, it is a bit small, man. Just another inch would have just really been fantastic. But in any case, how I'm holding the knife right now in the different grips feels good. No hot spots. Now, I did add this leather lanyard here, okay, just to be safe, but pretty excited to test this out. Now, let's take a look at the sheath, okay? Here's the sheath. It's a taco style with a nice thumb push off. It's a little bit on the thin side. It does come with a ferro rod, so we're going to be testing out that ferro rod. And, you know, the more and more I use this on my belt, the more and more I like it. You just depress this button and she opens up. Now, it doesn't open up all the way. You don't need to. It slips nice into the belt. You depress this, make sure it's locked into place, and she's good to go. The only thing is, it's just a little flimsy. It's adequate. Let's pop the knife in. It will protect you from getting cut. There is the package right there. Let's see. Didn't come out. No noise at all with this particular blade, so real nice. Let's test this out. All right, troops, I've been running out of my natural wood. The next best thing I got is this kiln dried wood, okay, that I got from Home Depot, Lowe's, or Publix. I just don't remember which one I got them from. I've had it for a while. Been trying to use up what I could that I still have left, but running real low. This is a nice hard piece of dried wood. You know, you might find something similar out there. Maybe you go to a park and you're not allowed to cut down the trees and stuff like that. We're going to test this out. Let's give this knife a go, all right? So I'm going to put my lanyard on just to be on the safe side, because this handle is a bit short, in my opinion. So let's give it a go. So far, so good. You know, you're definitely going to need some form of a lanyard here. Make no mistake, all right? If you're going to do this kind of work. Maybe as a fighting knife, you know, it might not be needed. However, for the outdoors, you're definitely going to need a lanyard. But no hot spots. It's already chewing away at this log. All right, awesome. I'm going to try and use every part of the blade. Let me just flip this over. Start on the other side right here. Get a little bit of the front part of the blade working here. Again, I'm in an area in Florida where, believe it or not, you know, the parks do not have, first of all, a bunch of trees like woodland type trees, at least not in the area that I am. The parks are clean, they're immaculate. You may very well have to bring in your own wood, you know? Still using that front part of the blade. Now, see if I can use some of the rear over here. Okay, let me just make sure. All right, now I'm seeing all the discoloration. I'm definitely using every part of the blade that I can. A challenge for sure. A challenge for sure. Very good. See, I need to tighten up my lanyard just a little bit. I'm just twisting it. That's all I'm doing. The G10, I gotta say, it is hot in Florida right now, and I'm starting to sweat. It is a little slippery, so be aware. Oh, look at that. Okay, definitely challenging piece of wood, no doubt. No doubt. It's not like it's chopping in an instant, okay? So even though it's thin, it's got a little slight, it's so ever so slight recurve. That nice belly over here, you know, I can really feel it when I hit the wood, that it will do justice. Tougher than I thought, man. You know, you guys want to test out your knives, kiln dried wood, go grab a bundle, put your knife to the test. All right, that did well. That looks good. And she's still sharp, all right? Let's move on. I'm gonna just keep on processing this piece right here. All right, we're gonna do some vertical batoning. What I like about this knife, it's got a pretty large, long blade, so it shouldn't be a problem if you have, you know, a full-size log like this, you know, to baton in half, quarters, what have you. Let me get the Centurion baton right here, and we will get started, okay? That's real easy. Okay. Try and utilize every part of the blade that I can. I'm gonna have to pick those pieces up. They're just falling all over the place. But so far, real good, right? I have a little bit more here. Might as well get this done. Again, if you need to start up a barbecue or a little fire, just went through that knot right here. So far, so good. As I was saying, if you're at a park and you don't want to use charcoal, you want to use this wood, you want to practice with your knife, whatever. Totally legit, in my opinion. Can make kindling. So far, so good. Man, all this stuff keeps on falling on the floor. I will be picking up those other pieces, and I'm just trying to use different parts of the blade. Okay, here we go. Give me a second. I'm going to pick up those other pieces. Okay, again, doing the job. All right, maybe you just need a few bigger pieces, so you keep this on the side. You start up the fire with this one. We're good to go. Now, I do have another piece that's natural, not kiln. I still think that this was a good test. Let's do some horizontal batoning, utilizing the whole blade with this right here. All right, troops, so far so good. You can see that this is a very natural piece of wood here. It's one of the logs I've used in the past and saved. So let me grab the Cerium baton right here, and utilizing the whole blade, I'm going to see if I can split this with this knife. Just gotta watch out for my hands here. Good. Let me take that off. All right, good. Excellent, excellent. Let me just get rid of this bark and continue. Oops. All right, that's good. Now, once again, I want to utilize the whole blade, showing everybody I'm utilizing the whole blade to split this. Turn this around. You see where that crack is. I'm going to continue, although it's kind of awkward, but yeah, it's okay. I'll do it this way. I'm going to have to use that front part of the blade first. Ow. Okay. Do a little prying here. All right, good. That's good. So far, so good. Let me do it one more time. All right, larger logs for your fire. All right, let's test this out. So far, the edge is doing a good job. I will process these off camera a little bit more. Actually, you know what? Let me clean this up. I want to make these a little bit shorter. We're going to do some cross batoning with this. Here's a pretty nice thick piece. I'm just going to cut it cross baton right there. Not sure. Probably the thicker part of the blade. See how that works out. Let me just grab my baton. I'm going to wear a glove because I've been hitting my knuckles with this. So that's no fun, you know. All right. So in fact, I'm even doing it in an angle where I get even more wood to do the cross batoning with. And I'm sure that these pieces are going to go flying, so be prepared. Whoops. All right, okay. It didn't go flying, which is good, but you saw how nice it cut. All right, now, I mean, I can continue to make it smaller, but that edge looks good. And where I batoned it, all right, there we go. Let me do it one more time. Let's do a thick piece right here. Just put this down. Just want to make sure I get the idea. Okay, and that DC53 is insane. Let's get that piece of wood again. In fact, you know what? Let's make the individual curls. Now, you saw that I used the whole part of the blade. The rear of the blade is excellent to make the individual curls or the feathers that you want. Okay. I have another dried piece of kiln right here, a little bit different. Well, this is not dried piece. This is an actual piece of natural wood. All right, and here is where I just did that cross batoning. Okay, and harder yet, I have this other piece of wood right here. This is, I use this to make divots. And let me try a little different part of the blade here. All right, looking good, man. So far, so good. That edge is doing real good. Let me get some nice sticks for feathering. 1 second. Yesterday, I was testing out a different brand knife. You could go check it out in my community page. I'm trying to make a feather for everybody, feather stick, which you don't have to do. This is fine. You know, you don't have to make feather sticks, but for content, do that front part here. For content, I just want to show everybody, right? If you don't know how to make feather sticks, you know, a great way to make individual curls or feathers is stab that knife into the stump or whatever stable platform you have, and you can just start doing this. And this is where I pretty much did that cross batoning, and you could see how it's making the nice individual curls. Oops. Hoping you could see the way it's making those very fine curls here. Love that clip point. I mean, the handle is doing fine so far. I know it's a little on the small side. It's doing fine, but man, an inch, I think an inch would have done a little bit more justice, but you could see. All right, an example that you can make feather sticks with this awesome knife. Let me try again. In any case, listen, I don't want to go too long on this. You guys get the idea. It's still good, man, still good. All right, I have this stick over here in case you want to see how the knife does delimbing. Not a bad job, not a bad job. I've got one more piece over here. Again, simulating the delimbing process. That area right here on the blade is perfect. Make sure you have your lanyard on. You will get that nice momentum to delimb your tree. And then you find the right piece that you want. Make a little point. Do a little chamfering. Well, this isn't the greatest piece right here. You know, do a little chamfering with that point. This is definitely a nice camp knife, okay? I know it's a small piece of wood, but just an example. Okay, so, let's try some scraping with the spine. I don't think it's going to do anything, but because it's pretty rounded off, but I want to see what the clip might be capable of. So let's give it a go. All right, so I want you all to take a close look. You could see in the light how rounded off that spine is. However, that clip point is a little bit sharper. All right, so I'm going to try a couple of things. Now, this does require something stable if you're going to do a little bit of scraping. So, fat wood, I'm going to do that first. So I'm just going to stab it into the stump. All right, and just to show everybody, nothing. All right, very little at the most. But the clip right here capable. All right. That's just a small example. Let me just keep going, make a little bit nicer pile here. Type of angle. Okay, so that's working pretty good. That's a decent sized little pile right there. I mean, you can keep on going for 5 minutes until you get this big, pile. But again, you can always, right, use the blade to make little shavings or what have you. I know they're all going all over the place, but you get the idea. You don't have to, you don't have to do this, but all right. So you can see some of the examples over here. However, if you're traveling and you want to be as light as possible, this is your go-to fire starter. You may want to be frugal with it. That's just the example. Let's try this stick right here. This is wood that I just found from another piece I probably tested earlier. I'm kind of curious to see now if I can get some fluff from this. Not really. Not really. At least with the fat wood, I got something substantial. I was hoping, let me just move this out of the way. I was hoping that this was going to do better. Actually, let me do this. Okay. Yeah, it's not doing it as good as I thought it was. Okay, just not doing it as good as I thought it was. Good news is I'm stabbing this into the stump. It looks like that tip is doing fine. Okay. Now, let's just test out the ferro rod. Same thing. Let me scrape this off first. All right, well, what the good news is, it looks like we are getting some sparks with the ferro. And I got a good grip right here with my thumb and my middle finger, and you can see the coating has worn off. Now, I'm sure this type of ferro is not the greatest. It's still doing it. Let me get another one. I'm just kind of curious. I got this one right here. Let's see. Kind of doing the same thing. So again, if you have the courage, you could sharpen this up over here and over here. I like the knife the way it is. I don't want to, mar this up. You could get a tool instead, but that clip point is still going to do you justice. Okay, so let's do some cam tasks. Being that this is a really nice clip point, I want to do a little tip testing before we move to the cam tasks. I just thought about it. I'm like, the hell with it. Let's just do it. So since it is a small handle and the guard does not protrude that long, I'm just going to use the lanyard here for safety. Good. And you saw before that I was slamming it into the stump and it didn't break off the tip. All right, that's good. And it's definitely going in deep into the into the stump. All right. So, oh, my lanyard broke. Bummer. Bummer. All right. It's not a very, very strong piece of leather, but you know what? I'll test it out for later. Let me see now if I could split this apart safely without that lanyard. I'll just be a little bit more careful, but probably a good idea is to wear a pair of gloves. You know, if you don't have a lanyard. I'm waiting for my paracord from Amazon to come in. So hopefully soon I'll have the proper lanyard on here. Now I'm not doing it too hard. It's still sticking into the wood. All right, so for those who don't want a baton, for whatever the reason, and you have a platform where you could do this up against a tree, I mean, you could, right? You could just make sure that your tip is in there properly, and then go butt up against the tree that's standing and, you know, do this. Again, another example of the tip. Now, I'm pretty satisfied with this. I don't think I need to make a divot, but you know what? I have the wood here. I have the wood here. The hell with it. Let's do it. I've made other divots here before. One thing that I do like about this knife, and I don't know if anybody's noticed it, but that secondary grind right there, the edge, nice and high. I like that. I definitely like that. Whoops. Started going into a different divot. I'm not trying to do that. And again, I'm using the tip to pivot to make that divot wider. So the knife is doing a job. Be a great camp knife, you know, cut up food, prep food, do some camp tasks around the campsite, maybe the hunting area. Still though, I want to recommend to the WPKOPYA reps an inch longer, and maybe the guard a little bit longer for safety reasons, but still doing a proper job with everything so far. And I'm very glad that I'm in a collaboration with these guys. Hopefully, some of you who have been wanting to see this knife reviewed are satisfied so far. All right, that's a pretty deep hole. That tip is looking good. That edge feels sharp. I definitely want to do camp tests and test out some material, so let's go. So far, so good. I'm liking this knife. This knife is still pretty sharp, doing the job. I got a bunch of material here, some camp, some industrial, you know, all good for testing. So let me just split a couple of things up over here. All right. I got more industrial stuff, but at least you know that the industrial stuff, you know, is good for testing. So real easy. I have, again, Amazon hasn't showed up yet. I have this shoestring type material that could act as a paracord. I just don't like the color, or else I would use it. All right, easy. Some synthetic rope over here. Again, if you're working on a ranch, camp, hunting, etc. So far, so good. A little bit thinner type nylon seat belt material, or nylon material right here. Doing in the front part over here. Boom. Okay, easy. Now, I found this off of a bag, some handbag. It had a hole in the bottom, but it had these type of handles. This is nice and thick. Okay, it's even sewed in over here to double up. So let's see. Okay, real easy. A little bit softer material, some cotton stuff possible that you might take out into the woods or ranch environment or hunting environment. You never know what you have on hand. You're going to utilize it. All right, now some of the more industrial material here. Let me do the easier stuff, the lighter stuff. This is some tubing to tie down mesh onto maybe like a screen of some sort. Okay, so just an example. You never know, you might decide to take this into the woods for whatever reason. Real easy to cut. All right, very easy, very easy. I have some plastic mesh. Again, they tie the trees down to poles. Okay, so they'll tie the center of the tree, you know, small trees with a diameter maybe this big. They'll tie it around so that the wind doesn't knock everything down here, because when the storms happen with the wind, there's trees falling down all over the place over here in this complex. So, okay, plastic mesh, done. A little bit of soft tubing, some kind of a gasket for something. I have no idea what, but you might find a use for it, you know, and easy to cut. It's not a problem. All right. Definitely need that inch, man. Definitely need that inch. Just a little bit more to get that momentum going, you know, a little bit farther back. Just feels like it's missing something. This material right here is used on the construction site to tie down prefabricated roofs. All right, done. Heavy duty twist tie right here. I've been picking this stuff up. I'm going to make it nice and even so I could use it for future videos. No problem. You can see how substantially thick that is, okay? Take a look at this wicked stuff, man. This is no joke right here. This will hold down anything. It is such a heavy duty tie, pallet tie. Okay, done. And last but not least, just want to show everybody this particular piece of wood. And it has the bark on it still. I found it. And I just wanted to show everybody that nice, capable, long feather I could make. With this knife. We're good to go, man. Let's conclude. Yeah, baby, that's an awesome clip point right there. Just two small issues. The spine is rounded off. Again, take it to a belt sander, make that spine sharp. And the handle, man, just an inch more would have been perfect. But as is, the knife did a fantastic job. I tried once again fitting everything up on that log. It did do a lot of work. It's still sharp. A pretty nice blade, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this is the WPKOPYA WZD-004A clip point hunter. I personally think it's a fighter. And unless you're military, law enforcement, first responder, you know, you might tangle with some of the bad guys. You know, the only other thing I could do is test this out in an outdoor environment, and it did great. All right, troops, thanks again. Really appreciate you all taking the time, making it this far. Let's hope you did. Let me know what you think about this knife. Let me bring awareness, everybody. Hashtag 22 a day, hashtag 22 a day. The more there are veterans and active military wants to get out of the service, they do face a lot of challenges. Unfortunately, one of these challenges is suicide. So when we're done here with this video, go pause on the slides. At the end, there will be phone numbers you can call. There will be websites that you can surf. Heartfelt message from one of your own, Martin Miller, Vietnam veteran, U.S. Army, 66 to 69. He has gone through what you are going through. Please seek the help that you all have earned and deserve. Troops, Legionnaires, new recruits, let me know what you think about this blade. At the ready, troops. Hold the line. Take care.
Legionnaires!